Commander Taho Kim stood at the view screen, his eyes fixed on the vast emptiness of space. The 12 ships under his command looked small and weak against the backdrop of stars. Earth had been part of the Galactic Confederation for only 42 years. Compared to other species who had traveled the stars for thousands of years, humans were babies. "Commander, the meeting starts in 5 minutes," said Sunma, his tactical officer. Her face was serious as she handed him a datapad. "Thank you, Sunma. Any news from the front?" asked Taho. "Bad news only. The Void Carvers destroyed 3 more Confederation outposts. No survivors." Taho nodded grimly. The Void Carvers were a new threat that nobody understood. They attacked without warning and showed no mercy. Despite having better technology, the Confederation was losing badly. The meeting room was filled with aliens of all shapes and sizes. Some had scales, others had tentacles. All of them looked worried. Admiral Ju-1, the blue-skinned leader of the Confederation's Third Fleet, pointed to a star map. "The Void Carvers have destroyed everything in these sectors. We must pull back our forces to protect core worlds." Taho raised his hand. "What about Earth? These attack patterns show the Void Carvers might come to our system next." The room went quiet. Admiral Ju-1 looked at Taho with pity. "Earth is a developing world with minimal strategic value. We cannot spare ships to defend it. But millions will die." Taho protested. "Billions have already died," replied the Admiral coldly. "This is war." After the meeting, Taho and Sunma walked silently through the space station corridors. "They've given up on us," said Sunma finally. "Yes," said Taho, "but I haven't." Back on their ship, Taho called a private meeting with Sunma. The small room was filled with screens showing battle footage of Void Carver attacks. "I've been studying their movements," said Sunma, pointing to patterns on the screen. "Everyone says the Void Carvers are unpredictable because they share one mind. But I see patterns here, here, and here." Taho leaned forward. "You think you can predict their attacks?" "Maybe," she said. "The Confederation forces always fight the same way. They use the same tactics they've used for centuries. But the Void Carvers adapt. While we—" Taho's eyes lit up with understanding. "Humans have always been good at adapting," finished Sunma with a small smile. 3 days later, alarms blared throughout the ship. A young officer named Jae-hyuk rushed into the command center. "Commander, the Void Carvers have changed course. They're heading directly for Earth." Taho's face hardened. "How long do we have?" 2 weeks at most." The emergency call with Confederation headquarters was brief. "We can evacuate your government officials and some civilians," said Admiral Ju-1. "But we cannot fight this battle for you." "We don't need evacuation," said Taho firmly. "We need permission to defend ourselves our way." The Admiral looked surprised. "You want to fight the Void Carvers with 12 ships?" "Yes, but we'll do it the human way." After a long pause, the Admiral nodded. "Permission granted, but understand this is likely a suicide mission." After the call ended, Sunma looked at Taho. "What exactly is the human way?" Commander Taho smiled for the first time in days. "We call everyone, not just military experts. We need historians, game players, sports coaches, anyone who knows how to win when the odds are bad." "Will it work?" asked Jae-hyuk nervously. "I don't know," admitted Taho. "But throughout human history, we've always found ways to win impossible fights. It's time to show the galaxy what humans do best." He looked out at the stars, where the enemy was coming. "We changed the rules of the game." The large meeting room on Earth's main space station was packed with an unusual mix of people. Military officers sat next to college professors. Computer experts talked with sports coaches. History teachers debated with professional game players. Commander Taho stood at the front of the room. "We have 10 days before the Void Carvers reach Saturn. Our job is to find a way to beat an enemy that has never lost." A young man with bright eyes raised his hand. "Commander, I'm Jae-hyuk. I was a champion game player before joining the fleet. The Void Carvers remind me of AI opponents in games. They're smart, but follow rules. Sun Mei nodded eagerly. That matches my data. Their hive mind thinks as one, which makes them strong, but also gives them a weakness. They can't understand actions that don't make sense. Like what? Asked Taio. Like sacrificing a piece in chess to win later, said an old chess teacher. Or like a boxer who takes a hit to give a bigger one. Taio smiled. So we do things they can't predict because they can't understand why anyone would do them. For the next week, Earth's ships were changed in strange ways. Some had their weapons removed to add extra shields. Others had their engines modified to move in jerky, unpredictable patterns. Admiral Ju-1 arrived with 3 Confederation observers. He watched the preparations with confusion. Commander Taho, what are you doing? Your ships don't match any known battle formation. That's the point, Admiral, replied Taho. We're not fighting like anyone in the Confederation. We're fighting like humans. The date arrived. 300 Void Carver ships appeared near Saturn, their black hulls absorbing the sunlight. Against them, Earth had only 12 ships. Operation Ghost Echo begins now, ordered Taho. Earth's ships scattered in different directions. Some flew straight at the enemy. Others hid behind moons. 2 ships shut down all power and drifted like dead rocks. The Void Carvers seemed confused. Their ships moved to attack, then changed direction, then changed again. It's working, shouted Sun Mei. Their hive mind can't decide what to do because our actions don't fit any pattern they know. Jae-hyuk pointed to his screen. Commander, I found something. Their ships communicate with light signals. There's a tiny delay, just 1/10 of a second, before each ship moves after receiving a signal. Can we use that? Asked Taho. Yes, said Jae-hyuk with excitement. If we time our movements exactly right, we can be where they don't expect every single time. Earth's ships began an elaborate dance. They moved precisely in the gaps between Void Carver formations. They fired their weapons not at the enemy ships, but at empty spaces where enemy ships would be a moment later. Admiral Ju-1 watched in amazement as one Earth ship after another slipped through the Void Carver fleet, causing confusion and damage without being hit. Impossible, he whispered. After 6 hours of battle, the Void Carvers had lost 47 ships. Earth had lost only 3. Then sensors detected a new danger. Commander, called an officer. 1,000 more Void Carver ships just arrived. The room went quiet. Even with their success, they couldn't beat so many enemies. Taho looked at Sun Mei and Jae-hyuk. Both nodded with determination. Admiral, said Taho to the shocked Confederation officer, you're about to see the real human strategy. We call it the Tide Gambit. It's time to introduce some chaos into their perfect hive mind. He pressed a button on his console. All ships, execute final phase. Let's show the galaxy why humans never give up. The Tide Gambit begins now, said Commander Taho. All ships, send the signal packets. Earth's 9 remaining ships began broadcasting strange patterns of data directly at the Void Carver fleet. The patterns changed every few seconds, following no clear rules. What are you doing? Asked Admiral Ju-1. We're sending them bad information, explained Sun Mei. Their hive mind connects all ships. If we confuse one ship, we confuse them all. On the main screen, the massive Void Carver fleet began to move strangely. Some ships turned in circles. Others fired weapons at empty space. It's working, shouted Jae-hyuk. Their communication system can't handle data that makes no sense. We're giving them a computer virus, but for their minds. Still, the Void Carvers were powerful. 3 more Earth ships exploded under heavy fire, but the remaining ships kept moving and fighting in ways that no Confederation ship ever had. After 9 hours of battle, something amazing happened. The Void Carver fleet began to retreat. They're running away, said Admiral Ju-1 in disbelief. No one has ever made the Void Carvers retreat. 2 months later, Commander Taiho, now wearing an admiral's uniform, stood before the Galactic Confederation Council. Leaders of all 18 species watched him with new respect. "Explain how you defeated an enemy that our best fleets could not," said the council leader. "Simple," said Taiho. "Your civilizations have been in space for thousands of years. You all learned to fight the same way. The Void Carvers studied and adapted to your patterns." Sun Ma stepped forward with data charts. "Humans developed on a single planet, separated from the galaxy. We created thousands of different ways to fight and compete. Games, sports, wars, each with different rules." J-Hook added, "The Void Carvers' strength was being one mind, but that was also their weakness. They couldn't understand why anyone would make moves that seemed wrong, but were actually smart in a different way of thinking." The council talked among themselves for a long time. Finally, the leader spoke. "We request that Earth lead a new division of the Confederation military. You will teach others your human way of fighting." 6 months later, Admiral Taiho looked out from the bridge of the new Confederation flagship, Innovative Spirit. The ship was massive, built with the best alien technology, but designed with human strategy in mind. Sun Ma, now Director of Intelligence, stood beside him. "The Void Carvers have lost 12 more battles. Every fleet with human advisors wins. Those without human advisors still lose." "And the new academy?" asked Taiho. "Full of students from every species," she replied. "They're studying everything from ancient Earth battles to modern video games." J-Hook entered the bridge with a group of alien officers. They wore patches showing Earth's outline. "Admiral, the new tactical team is ready," said J-Hook proudly. "They've learned to think like humans, always changing, always surprising." Taiho nodded with satisfaction. "Humans were the youngest species in the galaxy. We had the least technology and experience, but we had something more valuable." "What's that?" asked a young alien officer. "Creativity," said Taiho. "The willingness to try new things, to break rules, to think differently. That's the human strategy that rewrote galactic warfare." He looked at the stars ahead, where a final battle against the remaining Void Carvers waited. "And that's why, no matter what enemies we face, humanity will always find a way to win."